But where was that guy? I was going with something. You were saying milk. I'm thinking somebody needs to come to me about our own version of the elixir of the gods, the Sprite. I'm sure we can,
our own version.
much like some songwriters or Hollywood types, we can make something confusingly similar while at the same time not violating any copyrights and infringe on somebody else's profits at the expense of our own or whatever.
How similar is 7-Up to Sprite?
Oh no, 7-Up has that aftertaste. It doesn't go down as smoothly or as refreshingly, and it has the aftertaste. Now, Sierra Mist from a restaurant, if it is a that type of building rather than with Coke products, it can work just so you can choke your food down. But no, if you want the true nectar of the gods, you have to go with the Sprite Zero. Now is the only way for me to go because I'm off the sugar. But whatever, if you want to walk on the wild side, kids, go ahead, be Lou Reed. Go ahead and drink the actual fucking hard stuff and with the sugar in it. You'll regret it later in life. But if you're young,
be like Lou Reed.
But it's got to be the Sprite.
Candy came from out on the island, but she had sugar, so Jim ignored her.
She said, "Hey, kids, take a walk on the Sprite side."
When did you give up sugar? When did you go to Sprite Zero?
I sound like Lance now. 2000, I was in TNA, but probably later in the 2008-ish, I'm going to say.
Because I guess my question is, if you look back at like you in the 90s, like Smoky Mountain, when you were probably the most stressed because you were running everything and there was so much going on, you ate pretty badly by your own, I mean, well, you may like it, but
garbage.
But if you had just done the switch from Sprite at that time to Sprite Zero and got rid of the sugar, do you think it would have affected your weight?
Probably, I would say it would affect anybody's weight, depending on how big you are to begin with. You're not going to lose 15 pounds if you cut out sugar if you're, 5'2" and 114 pounds. But it definitely would have affected mine and anybody that cuts completely the sugared drinks for the diet drinks. But mine was driving back and forth to the TNA tapings. My legs were swelling like sausages. And cutting out the sugar made that fucking subside, believe it or not. So that's how I noticed that it was. But now, if I drink a fully sugared Sprite, it will make me thirsty. Because it will dry something about the real sugar now, or even a restaurant, when they don't have the Sprite Zero, and once again, got to choke down the food. But it'll make me thirsty if it's a real strong fountain Sprite with sugar, because there's something about not being used to drinking sugar and then that going on. I don't know.
Were you able to do it right away, or was it a tough thing to go from Sprite to Sprite Zero? You love it now, but obviously it must have been some sort of change.
Well, it's got to be ice cold. It's got, when you make the switch, the Zero has to be as cold as you can get it, cold as a witch's heart. Because otherwise you'll notice, and it will put you off at the start until you get used to it. You will notice the difference, and you'll notice it's a different taste at first, but then once you get used to it, it's the same fucking thing, but without the harmful sugar.